So the World Cup quarter-finals are here. I can't believe it. We're at the last eight of the competition. I have to say it's been a fantastic tournament. There's been some amazing games, especially as it's got to the knockout stage. The tournament has been so enjoyable. There's been some great games, some surprises, some comebacks, some incredible goals, incredible games, games that have gone all the way, and some seriously memorable games that will live long in the memory for years. Some of the standout games for me, I think, the two games we've seen recently from Argentina, the 3-2 extra time win over Cape Verde, where Cape Verde fought so hard, the comeback then against Egypt from Argentina, and I think England and Mexico as well got to be out there as well. What a game that was! There's been some other great games as well, games like Portugal and Croatia, very good game and with a lot of talking points. And I think Belgium and Senegal, that was quite something as well. There's been some fantastic games, and it's been a really enjoyable tournament. And there's been there's been a lot of players that have really shone this tournament as well. A real strong list of top scorers, a really good Golden Boot race. I think we've got Messi, Harry Kane, Haaland, and Mbappe, all of that lot like there with a good chance of winning that. And it's been fantastic. It's been fantastic to see, and we're here at the last eight now, the quarterfinals, and we've got some big matchups to come here, and I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great, and hopefully England can go all the way. From what I know we've probably said this hundreds of times, but something does feel different. Thomas Tuchel. In Thomas Tuchel, I believe we've got an elite manager, someone who knows how to win tournament football, and I think that's really starting to show on the team. I think there's been a mentality shift. I really do. I think in that Mexico game, I think we saw a completely different side to England. We've always knew we had the quality and we've had a chance to do it for a while, but it feels like we've got a very good chance, and I'm feeling very optimistic about the rest of the tournament from an England point of view. But either way, there's going to be some great games. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes. So we're going to do the quarter-final predictions today. So and we're starting with France versus Morocco. Now, this is a repeat of what was the semi-final in 2022, where of course Morocco were the first ever African side to make the semi-finals of this competition. Looking to do the same thing again here, be still the only team to do it, but then do it back to back, be the second team to do that from Africa, and I think that would be an incredible story. But they're going up against the France side. They're going up against the very best here. There's always going to be an exciting fixture. There's always going to be a story around this game, and France ended their very good run before when it got to the semi-final, and France may be even better than what they was then this time round. But Morocco are so much more experienced, and I think that's really shown in this tournament. And I think coming into this game, I think they've got a chance. I think they've proven so far what they can do through the group stage. Very strong in that, unbeaten through the group stage. And coming into the knockout stage, they've had two very impressive results. They've beat the Netherlands for extra time penalties. Very good from them there in that one. Then going into the next game, very strong against Canada in front of goal as well. And defensively, they're so solid as well. But they've got a much more of an attacking side to their game now, I believe, from the last World Cup as well. So they've come a long way as a team as well. Now France, if there's anything you could find, any sort of weakness you could find in the team, maybe you could get at the defence a bit. Maybe they've kept clean sheets against Sweden and Paraguay, the team with more quality. Maybe they could put goals past them. But the only thing is with France, even if you score against them, the defence, they don't gift away chances. I do believe their defence is solid, and I do believe that it's good enough to see out games when the attackers do get them in front. I think but even so, the attack is good enough to outscore anyone in the tournament. When the attack is functioning the way it has been so far this tournament, you see Mbappe and Dembele, how well they're playing, how well they link up with Elise. Then just the options you've got off the bench, you've got either whichever one plays. You've got Barcola, Cherki, one of them usually on the bench at least. There's so many options in this France squad, and Mbappe almost has a free role. He kind of plays as a centre forward, but almost a free role. He's so good among that front four, and we see the amount of goals they're scoring. They can outscore anyone, and I think that's what is scary about France at the moment. And they're certainly looking like what I would say one of the two favourites at the moment. And fantastic team to watch, the way they move the ball, the way they attack, the way they play. Fantastic team, and it's gonna be a good game this, I think, because I think Morocco, like I say, are a serious side. I think they're a side that can cause anyone problems, and I think if they don't go through, I think this might be a game where they play really well and then come away feeling very unfortunate to have not got got something more out of it. Can they do it? Yes. Will they do it? I think France is the ultimate test, and I feel like Morocco they've had a very good tournament here, and I think they've proven why they're one of the sort of dark horse teams that was sort of mentioned at the start that has really lived up to that and more as well actually. They've really established themselves now as a serious team, a contender, in these tournaments. I do think a worry though is Sarabi looks like he might be out injured, which could be a major blow for Morocco. But prediction wise, I'm going to go for a 2-1 France win. I think it's going to be a tough game for them, but I think they're going to find a way through. I think they've got that quality, especially in attacking areas. I think it will show through. And I do think Morocco is going to be a challenge for any team though in this tournament. So that's what I'm going to go for in the prediction. Now I'm going to go for France to get through to the semi-final. Staying on that side of the draw, we have Spain against Belgium. Now Spain are a side that have not put a foot wrong yet. Have not conceded a goal. I've said that 0-0 in the first game, and since then they've kept a clean sheet and got a win in every game. And we know how good the attack can be. When the attack does get going, they really do get going as well, as we saw against Austria, as we saw against Saudi Arabia. And not conceded a goal yet. It's seriously impressive. They're the best defensive side of the tournament. France are the best attacking side. And there's not a lot in it either way. Both are good enough to win the tournament in that sense because you've got Spain that are very good defensively, but they certainly don't lack in goals as well, and they can be clinical as well. When it's a one chance game, really one chance to win it, like Portugal, they're more likely than anyone to step up and take those opportunities. They've got that mentality, they've got that experience, and they've got that confidence in the way they play. Whereas France, the other team, I would say are like the favourites at this stage. I would say are very much. They're all about the attack. I mean, it is that is probably their strongest point. But again, good in defence as well. But I think with them, Spain's best defensively, France best attacking wise, but not a lot in it. Both strong in all areas. But if they are to meet in the semi-final, which a lot of people predicted before the tournament, they play in the semi-final. One of them gets to the final. We could well still see that now. It does feel very much like there's a good chance that can happen. But like I say, Morocco serious side and Belgium are a serious side. We're going to talk about them in a minute because this game is definitely not going to be as straightforward as I would have predicted for Spain if you had asked me a couple of weeks ago, for sure. But like I say, I do think Spain, there's an efficiency about them. They do seem they're in such a good moment at the moment as well, playing on top form with so much confidence coming off the back of the Euro win, looking to just continue on the winning trajectory. Coming into this tournament as one of the favourites, and they haven't disappointed. I have to say, not conceded the goal. It just seems so organised, so hard to play against. It's going to take something special, I think, to beat them. And will this be the game they concede a goal in? I mean, quite possibly. I mean, could they keep this clean sheet record going? Who knows? It's they're already on like a record run, but I'm starting to really rate Belgium. I'm starting to really like them. I think. The dangerous thing about them is it does look like they keep being underestimated in every game, and they do seem like they turn out to be a lot better than people expected. It's a slow start in the group stage. It started with the 2 draws, but I did think in those games I thought the build-up play was good, and they're playing a lot of good football. They lacked end product, but they won the last game easy enough against New Zealand, and that was one thing. But it took them ages. It's taken a while to go into this tournament. They do seem to be one of those sides though that seem to find a way, because against Senegal eventually they started playing, and when they did start playing, they played really well. They got themselves from 2 behind really quickly, got it back into the game, and then won for extra time. And from there, against the US, they were brilliant in front of goal. This time they found their form in front of goal, and they beat them 4-1, and they were so good in that game. And I think they could do it. I think they've got a good chance to beat Spain here. I really do. I think Spain's the ultimate challenge there, and the elite side, they might just have too much. But there does seem to be something about Belgium at the moment. Maybe they've been underestimated. Maybe they've improved a lot and are a lot better than people expected. I do believe they've got a good shot at this. I think it's going to be a very close game, and I think on the day it could go either way. I think Belgium really do have a chance here. I just think when it comes to it, Spain, I just think might have that cutting edge, that kind of know-how in this type of game that will see them through. I think it's going to be very tight though. I'm going for a 2-1 Spain win. So I am going to stick with a France-Spain semi-final on that side of the draw, but it's going to be very, very tight. But on paper, them two definitely looking like the favourites at this moment. But closely behind, I would say, is now England, I think. I'll come on to the other side of the draw now. Of course, we've got England and Norway, and obviously Argentina and Switzerland. Now, starting with England and Norway, what a game this could be. Honestly, I honestly do believe that the winner of this game has got a very good chance of getting to the final. I really do believe that now at this stage. I think Norway were convincingly better against Brazil after a very good, hard-fought win against Ivory Coast, who are another really good side in this tournament as well. That's a win not to be understated. And then, through the group stage, won the first two, and then against France, okay, they were beat quite heavily, but they did miss some big opportunities. That was the one game that wasn't clinical in it, and it was a second string team. So I can't really even, I don't think you can read too much into that at this stage. I thought they were convincingly better against Brazil, Norway. I think where they're a danger for England is obviously, I think England and Norway, in terms of traditional number nines, a traditional classic number nine, I think England and Norway got the two best in the world. Harry Kane against Erling Haaland. We just look at the goal scoring record, just ridiculous of both. Haaland's on the run of 14 straight internationals he's scored in. Harry Kane being one of the standout players for England so far this tournament, but Jude Bellingham has also been right just behind him as well. And then you think, a lot of the other players are starting to really chip in as well. I've really so impressed with Gordon in that last game. I think defensively we fought so hard in that game. To everything stacked against us in Mexico City. People can say what they want about that win, but everything stacked against us in Mexico City. And then even more so when we go down to 10 men and was able to see it out in their home stadium and get through. And I think, like I said, I just think we saw a completely different side to England, and I think we've shown there that's what a winning team is. When things are against you, you find a way to win when it's not pretty, when it's not, everything going your way. And but we're facing a Norway side that I think have got that type of performance in them as well. I think they are certainly a team that they're not just about Haaland at all. They're strong in all areas. Norway, they definitely play well for Haaland. I think Haaland links up really well, and I think he's got a very good relationship with the wide men, particularly Schwerloff. And then you think the midfield is good as well because they can control games. Norway as well. They controlled large parts. They controlled the majority of the game against Brazil, to be perfectly honest. And they certainly look to dominate against anyone. And I think defensively they don't give chances away either. And to be fair, this tournament so far, neither do England. We don't either. And we're certainly, when we find our form in front of goal, we're certainly good. And we seem to be playing probably the best we've been played as a team in that I can remember really, from what we've shown in that last game. And group stage, okay, was slow. Very good against Croatia. Next two games were slow, but then against DR Congo in the very good second half, and then against Mexico City, what a win in a brilliant game. So I think this could be another brilliant game. I think both teams have got so much quality, particularly in attacking areas. I think this could be a great game, and I think this is a game that could go all the way. And I think on the day it could go either way. I just think, because I really rate Norway as well, I actually predicted them to get to this stage before the tournament started. I actually had, looking back at some of my original predictions, I'm quite happy with the games I predicted, because my original quarterfinals that I predicted at the start of the tournament, I had England-Norway, I had France-Morocco, and I had, I think pretty sure I had Spain-Belgium. I'll look back at that just to double check. And I had Argentina, I had them against Portugal, but I'm pretty sure that's what I said. And if it is, I'm certainly very pleased with that, with how unpredictable things are. So I've had a really good go at that. But Norway were one of the teams that were picked out for a dark horse at the start of the tournament. I said that about them, and I think they've lived up to it and more, and so much more. To be honest, I think they've got the makings of a team that could get there now. I think realistically, England and Norway are both be looking at a place in the final here if they could get the win. And I think if you was, I believe so much in this England team, as I've said, and more and more as the tournament's gone on, I believe so much in this team. I believe so much in us, and I think that we can. For that reason, I'm going to back us. But I think if you're Norwegian, you could say the same thing about them, and you would slightly side towards them. I think it really is that type of game. So I'm going to go for a 2-2, and I just think England find a winner next time. I just think find a way again. I just think we've got that about us, as we've shown in Mexico City. But it's going to be a really, really tough game. Make no mistake about this. From an England perspective, this is going to be a humongous challenge, that bigger than what a lot of people would have imagined that this would be before the tournament. We knew Norway would be a tough game. We knew how good of a side there was coming into this tournament, but they've been better than what was expected, which is they were already expected to be a potential surprise team, a team that could get to this point. But they honestly look like they'll be looking to go beyond this. They've been unbelievable this tournament. The fans have been unbelievable. England fans have been great as well, but Norway, they really have been one of the talking points of this tournament, I think, when you look back at this so far. But I'm going to back us to do it just after an extra time. I'm going to go for an extra time in one of these games, I think, and I think if there is one, I think it could well be this one. I think it's got that. I think it could well be that. I think Usually at some point in England we have an extra time as well. We have that nervy game that goes down to the wire. Now, as for the final game to decide who, this is who we'll play if we get through, the winner of Argentina against Switzerland. Now, let's talk about Argentina because I think a lot of people would have had them amongst Spain and France, probably ahead of England for a while, as the favourite, as like one of the favourites. And after the groups, the knockout stage for them's gone a bit different to how maybe you thought it would after the group stage. In the group stage, they looked like a Spain and France, so efficient, not putting a foot wrong. But they've had to work for both wins in the knockout stage. Cape Verde run them ragged. They run them like right to the end, push them to a 3-2, 3-2 win for them. They're in extra time, incredible performance from Cape Verde. But in Egypt, with a better team for large parts of that game, to be perfectly honest, and blistering on the counter attack really made Argentina pay. And it took them ages to get a foothold in the game. They looked dead and buried Argentina, but what champions do is in the final 10 minutes step up, score 3 goals, and win in stoppage time. Incredible comeback from Argentina. And you can look at one or two ways, as I said in my video about them that I made yesterday, where I said you can look at it as, well, this is what champions do. This is just in their DNA. They're winners, and they find a way to win, regardless of how they're playing, regardless of circumstance, regardless of what it looks like. But there's also a sense as well that maybe not as confident in them as maybe would have been. I think there's a sense that they are beatable. You look at the performances, you think the top team maybe could beat them, and even if maybe they get to the semi-final, we could well see a if we just say a lot of people have been predicting this for a while, if it is an England-Argentina semi on this side, I believe we could beat them. And I'll be actually, maybe I'll regret saying this, but I'll be more confident of beating them now than I would have been probably, I don't know, before the tournament, or definitely in the group stage for sure, because I think that, we've shown what we could do in Mexico City, and I do think Argentina, they certainly haven't been lucky. They have not been lucky. They fought, and they've just never given up, and they're just a team that has a never say die attitude. But that type of tournament can run out almost at some point. You can come up against a side that just does too much, and I think Argentina are capable. I certainly think they're capable. I certainly think they got it in them mentality wise, and I think they have got the quality, and they've proven they have got the quality because they're back-to-back Copa America champions, and they're the current holders. They're the current world champions, so we know that they can do it. The question is, will there be a team that's able to beat them this time round? And I think the answer to that is quite possibly yes, but also quite possibly no. It's going to be very interesting, but this is going to be a very tough game for them. Make no mistake about that. Switzerland's going to be a very, very tough game for them. A game that I think people are underestimate the difficulty of from an Argentina perspective. So, Argentina, they are certainly, I can say they certainly can win it, but I do believe that if they are to get through, the winner of Norway England will, I think, will seriously fancy the chances in this against them. But obviously a lot depends on how this game goes. I think it's going to be a tough game. Switzerland are a serious side, and I think they're like Morocco. I think they've really sort of utilised having more experience this time around as well. You think this tournament they've quietly gone about business, gone under the radar, and been very, very efficient in what they do under the radar. They don't give chances away, and they also score. They're not short of goals either. Obviously no goals in open play yesterday. They had to do it through penalties, but they stepped up through penalties, and I think the experience they've got there really sort of paid off. I think Switzerland, they've always, for so long we've been waiting. I feel like I've been waiting for them to have that big tournament, and this feels like it could be it. This feels, it's a game that I feel is winnable for them. I really do. I think I would not be surprised if they do it. I think Argentina always find the way, and they're the world champions, and they just look like there's something about them that does look like a winning team, even if they're not the best in the tournament on paper anymore. But Switzerland, they've proven over previous tournaments they've got this type of upset in them, that they're capable. And so far this tournament, they won their group. The group was a group that they was favourites in, but not straightforward. They won the group, and then from there, they've certainly been impressive. Algeria very convincing in that round 32, and then coming against the game against Colombia, they were most people predicted Colombia to win. I knew it would be a really, really tight game that could go either way, but Switzerland in the end were the ones who done it. So, and this is probably the best team they've had so far. When you think that they've been building for so long, and for so long they've been like, they've been one of the surprise teams. And I've really rated Switzerland for so long. I think I was one of the first people to really sort of pay attention to them. Like going into Euro 2020, I said they're going to be good, and I remember that tournament they knocked out France, pushed Spain to extra time and penalties in the quarter-final, and I think from there they really made a name for themselves. And last World Cup, it was almost felt like a major step backwards, almost getting knocked out by Portugal 6-1 in the round of 16. Never been beyond that stage. 5 of the last 6 they've got to that stage, never got beyond. The quarterfinals has been the stage they couldn't reach. It was a historic result to get to this stage. Whatever happens, big step forward, but it feels like they could go beyond it. Honestly, every team left in this tournament will look at it and think we've got a realistic chance here because of the way the draws panned out. And I do think Switzerland are going to be a real test for Argentina. I think people keep underestimating Switzerland, and I think I see it well, but they do it. I really do, and I could definitely see them getting through to that semi-final. But it wasn't even it's not even the performance, and it's not even the fact that it's not Argentina's results or performances that's making me think this so far. It's more the way they come back, the way they got the win against Egypt that's making me think they're going to have. That I think I'm going to side with them. I think Switzerland could end up being unlucky. I think they could end up. I think Switzerland might outplay Argentina for large parts, but I think Argentina find a way again, 2-1. If I had to say yes or no, do Argentina win the World Cup at this stage? I would go no. But for all the reasons I've said, the whole the Messi factor as well, which I've not even actually touched on in this video, then that's why they could do it. But I do think that someone could beat them. One of the 3 I mentioned, particularly Spain and France, if they could get to the final, particularly, there's a lot of there's teams left in this competition that I still think people are underestimating. So I think that it's tough to call. It's tough to call, but I am going to go for that. So I'm going to stick with what I said. France, Spain on one side of the bracket, although Belgium really would not underestimate them anymore. Other side of the bracket, I'm going England, but England and Norway is going to be one of the games of the tournament. I have no doubt about that. And then the other, so I'll go for England to get through to play, and I've gone for us to play Argentina, which is the game that I think a lot of people have been anticipating. But again, Switzerland also like Belgium, definitely don't want to underestimate them. So that's what I'm going to go for the quarterfinals. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts and predictions as well. Feel free to comment predictions, and let me know who you think's going to win the World Cup. Who's the favourite now at this stage? I mean, a lot of the some of the teams that were mentioned right at the start are still there, and there's been some teams that maybe people didn't expect to maybe be such a strong contender at this stage there as well. But that's what makes this so interesting. So I'm really looking forward to all 4 of these quarterfinals, and most of all, come on England.